If you look at the map, look at the demographics, look at the power dynamics in Africa. Look at where things are going. Look at the trajectory. Like I say, multipolarity means, in practice, multiple hegemons. It does not mean, individual countries, all the individual countries in the world operating independently. That's not realistic. It means spheres of influence in which individual countries will cohere to larger, more important, more powerful regional actors. They will orbit around bigger actors, the biggest actors in their regions. The spheres of influence are already being fairly clearly demarcated. Every other major region in the world has basically already been claimed. The lines have already been set. China in the east and Southeast Asia, that's in China's orbit. Eurasia is in Russia's orbit. The Middle East, North Africa, East Africa, that's in the orbit of the GCC. Parts of the Sahel are in the orbit of the GCC. India has South Asia, and America has the Western Hemisphere and Europe. The Earth is already being partitioned in these spheres of influence. Africa is the last genuinely open contest. And it's arguably the most important contest. Africa is going to have like 40% of the world's population by the end of this century. Almost half of the global population is going to be African. Africa has the majority of the most critical minerals. Cobalt, lithium, platinum, rare earths, and so forth. Things that the AI revolution, the clean energy transition, and so forth, all of this technology is built on. Africa has the largest underdeveloped agricultural land on Earth. Africa has the youngest population on Earth. It has 2 major maritime choke points. Africa has the natural resources that every single industrializing power will need, does need, has needed, and will need in the coming century. So whoever anchors Africa in the new multipolar world is positioned in the 21st century in the same way that Britain was positioned in the 19th century. That's the strategic reality. Now, in the old colonial order, you could control Africa through military force and political capture. That model is over. The Sahel proved that. In Mali and Burkina Faso and Niger, they threw the French out. Literally, put them on planes. That was unthinkable 15 years ago. But that psychological wall is down now. Now, of course, the French are trying to hold on. They're trying to fight back in their own sort of pathetic way. It's obvious to everyone that they're the ones who are behind these so-called Islamic, jihadist, whatever, militants who are trying to undermine Sahel independence right now, but they'll fail. Those countries, the Sahel countries, they just have to navigate their way. So military occupation as the primary method of control, that's done, that's finished. The only thing left is economic management and institutional capture, political infiltration like the DA. And in order for those methods to work, you need a country inside Africa that you already have that structure in place, where you already have that structure in place, where the financial system is already organized the way that you need it to be organized, where the courts already function your way, where the media already speaks your language and follows your narrative and your messaging, where the political class is already aligned with a national capital. Well, that's South Africa. More than any other country in Africa, that's South Africa. That's the base. That's the beachhead. That's the reason that South Africa cannot be allowed to decolonize genuinely. It's not even because the people who run South Africa hate black people, even though most of them do. That's not even the real reason. That doesn't really matter. They hate Arabs too. They hate Asians too. But they love their money more. I mean, the truth is that they hate everyone. That class of people hates everyone. I mean, look, they're completely sabotaging Europe right now. That's their own kind. Deindustrializing, militarizing, and so forth, austerity programs and whatnot, putting Europe on an irreversible track to becoming a conflict zone. And they're doing it in America, again, to their own kind. So South Africa, as it is currently structured, is the only place on the continent, the only place in the continent, where a national capital can fully operate as a host rather than as a guest.